Hello, this is Miss Pat from Samuel's Public Library. This week in Science Scouts, we're going to learn about the water cycle and what a raindrop or drop of water is going to go through. We're going to read about The Little Raindrop by Joanna Gray. One dark and stormy day, a little raindrop fell out of a cloud and flew faster and faster through the sky. A gust of wind blew Little Raindrop sideways, and in a dazzling flash of red, orange, and yellow, he found himself inside a rainbow. Enjoying the beautiful colors, Little Raindrop fell through green, blue, indigo, and violet before another gust of wind blew him out of the rainbow. Splash! Little Raindrop landed in a shallow puddle on top of a large rock. Splish, splash, splash! Lots of other raindrops fell all around him until the puddle was overflowing. Little Raindrop ran down the side of the rock and joined a stream. In the stream, Little Raindrop drifted through woods and bounced over pebbles. He played with small shimmering fish and watched them dart around as deer and rabbits came to drink at the water's edge. Sometimes laughing children would race sticks in the water, and Little Raindrop would chase them under bridges, dodging the swirling grass and fluttering leaves. After a while, the stream joined a river, and Little Raindrop floated along in a strong current. At times, the river was calm and peaceful, and Little Raindrop watched diving kingfishers and large fish as they swam slowly by. At other times, the river was noisy and rough. Little Raindrop raced along rapids and dived down waterfalls, carefully avoiding the jagged rocks at the bottom of the falls. Eventually, the river reached the sea, and Little Raindrop was pulled far away from the shore. He met friendly dolphins who played and danced in the sunlight and listened as they whistled and clicked their greetings to each other. One day, the tide pulled Little Raindrop back to the beach. He surfed the waves and crashed onto the shore until finally he came to rest on the soft sand. The sun shone down on the sand, and Little Raindrop got hotter and hotter until the warmth of the sun drew him up in the air. It was cooler in the sky, and Little Raindrop joined a cloud that was already full of other raindrops. Little Raindrop was ready to fall to earth and begin his journey once more. Okay, and that's exactly what's going to happen to him. He's going to go back down. He might not go down the same river and land in the same ocean, but he is going to go back down, and then he's going to go back up, and he's going to come back down, and that's why it's called the water cycle. So we're going to talk about that. All right, and this shows you a little bit picture of the water cycle. I know some of you guys are learning that in school. So when he was on the beach, he had to evaporate, right? The sun warms up the ground, or even sometimes the sun will just warm up the top of the water, right? You guys might notice in the pools or in rivers, the top part of the water is warm. The rest of it, where you put your feet and stuff, that's cold, especially right now, right? But the sun is warming up the top part, or anything that's on the ground. If the rain falls on the ground and you got puddles like we had yesterday, it warms it up and then it evaporates. It turns into a gas. and it goes up, 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 and then it gets colder when it goes up. And when it gets cooler, it's going to condense and make clouds. And when those clouds get too full of water, like this gray one right here, right? And when it makes clouds, let me tell you, it's called condensation, again, CC. But when it gets too full of water, it's going to fall back down, and that's called precipitation. And it could land in a river, it could land in the ocean, it could land on the trees, it could land on your head. Right? Even when you guys take a shower or a bath and you guys wash your hair, it's still going to, hold on, it's still going to dry, right? It's still going to evaporate. So evaporation is when water is going to change from a liquid, maybe your hair is wet, it's going to change from a liquid to a gas or water vapor. Could be because of the sun's heat, could be because of the heat in your house, right? Because you're not outside. Hopefully you don't wet your hair and go outside when it's really, really cold. Otherwise you're going to have icicles hanging from your head. That'll hurt and you'll get sick, right? But if your house is nice and warm, your hair's going to dry and it's going to take the water from here and it's going to turn it into a gas, a water vapor. Condensation is when that water vapor turns back into a liquid because it meets cool temperatures, right? Remember, as it goes up, it's cooler, especially in the air, okay? And all the water droplets are going to make a cloud. And you guys can see the clouds made out of water vapor. If you guys go outside in the wintertime, and I know you've all done this, right? You go outside, and you go like this, and you can see your breath. That's because your warm breath met cold air, and it made a cloud right in front of you. Okay, that warm air, and there is water vapor, even though you don't feel it right now, there's water vapor in the air, but your warm breath and the cold air, when the two of them meet, the water in the air is going to make a cloud, and that's why you can see your breath. Also on the outside of containers, and I'm sure you guys have all done that, you get a cup of ice water and you put it down, and after a while you got a puddle underneath it. Well, that's because you have a cold, cold drink, and the warm air is hitting that cold drink, and now all the water on the outside of that glass, because remember there's water in the air, that warm air is meeting cold air and it's making water on the outside of your glass, and it's making water rings. Okay, so that's all condensation. Precipitation is when the clouds become too heavy and the water droplets fall back down. Could be rain, could be snow, it could be sleet, depends on the season, depends on the temperature. Okay, so if you guys come into the library, what we will give you will be some directions, very short directions, and we're going to give you a bottle. I'm not going to give it to you with water though. You guys can fill it up with water. All right, and you guys can use paper if you want to put some pieces of tape on here, or you can either label the tape, you can label, if you have a Sharpie, you can label the bottle. I'm going to label this bottle. All right, and what I'm going to tell you guys to do is going to be just kind of draw waves. All right, and I don't know if you can kind of see that. Right, I have my waves around here. That's my water. Right? You could even put a drop of food coloring in if you want to see your water a little bit better. Now, remember what happens when it gets warm? It's going to go up. Okay, and I'm just going to put an E here for evaporation. And then when it gets cold, I'm going to get my clouds. Okay, trying to stand in front so you guys can see what it looks like. So that'll be clouds. And then when it gets too heavy, it's going to come back down. And that's precipitation. Okay? So you put your water in up to about here. And you put the top on. And you go and stick it in front of a windowsill. Not outside. Okay, but go stick it on a windowsill or in the sun somewhere, you know, by your kitchen sink if you have a window above it. And after a while, and I put blue food coloring in this one, and I think you guys can see it's gotten really foggy in here. Now it's not foggy in this one. Okay, but it's gotten very foggy in this one, right? And even my blue food coloring has kind of gone up. Now, if I leave it sitting there long enough, it'll start coming down. You'll see rivers or the water droplets just moving down. This is just from putting it in front of the sun, okay? Because it was nice and sunny outside today. And it's only been there for about an hour. Okay, so all the water was down here, just like this water is down here. But whereas this one you can kind of see through and you can see my shirt, this one you can't. Okay, and that's because this one has gotten so foggy. Now I could change this. Now you can see through. Okay, because I've moved it. But if I put it back there in the sun again, it's going to get real foggy. It's going to steam up. And because I have the top on, the water can't get out. So it has to start making the cloud right here. Okay, and then it'll start falling down again. So you guys can actually see your own water cycle. You can practice that because you really can't see the water outside drying up and turning into a gas. And you really don't see the clouds being made. But this way you can. Okay, because you kind of trap it in one little spot. Right, and then you can kind of watch it come back down, especially if it's really warm outside. All right, so come on in, get your kit, have fun, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.